What happens if a situation arises that you were unprepared for? A situation such as a blizzard, a tornado, or being locked down due to a virus. Put yourself in any possible situation that could arise. Now ask yourself, what would you do? Where would you go? What do you need? Are you ready? Because what if tomorrow? Welcome to another episode of the What If Tomorrow podcast. I'm Philip.
And I'm Mark.
And tonight we got we're going to kind of touch base on a little bit of stuff that's going on tonight, just kind of with the inauguration, the first week, a little over a week, or I guess a week today, since the president took office. We're just going to kind of touch on a few things, but we're really going to dig into this new Project Stargate, or I guess Stargate Project. I wrote it wrong. But first things first, we're going to get the business part out of the way, if I can find it.
Scroll down.
Hey, this is Mark with What If Tomorrow and What If Tomorrow on the Fringe. Be sure to check out our website, whatiftomorrowmedia.com, and look at our cool merch. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, posters, and more. Our affiliates are Duke Cannon, EMP Shield, My Patriot Supply, and Conflicted the Game. Or check out buymeacoffee.com/whatiftomorrow and buy us a coffee. And as always, be sure to like, comment, and share on both Facebook and YouTube. It helps get our content out to others and help our channel grow. Now on with the show.
Yeah, do us a favor, guys. Help us out. We've been doing this for almost 5 years. Help us grow. Do us a favor. Leave a review if you're an avid listener. If you're a new listener, leave us a review over on Spotify or Apple. Help us get the podcast out. Help us grow. Kind of have some ideas for some new changes to the show. But if you have any ideas, by all means, leave us something on our Facebook, the What If Tomorrow Media group, or the What If Tomorrow Media podcast group. Email us, whatiftomorrowpc@gmail.com. Help us grow the show. Mark and I do this. It's a hobby, but we really enjoy it. And we just enjoy the interaction between the folks in the comments and the chat. We enjoy it. We've been kind of hit and miss towards the end of last year. Life happens. I got kids in soccer. Then we got work, especially towards the end of the year. Work ramps up a lot. So we kind of took a hiatus towards the end of the year. We have another show out there called On the Fringe. What If Tomorrow on the Fringe on YouTube. I'm not so much in that anymore. I've got other things going. But me personally, I will hit and miss. But Mark and Jess and Pam, who you guys I hope are familiar with, are great hosts. They're here next Monday. They're here the opposite Monday of this show. And then this Wednesday is Bordertown
Strange, yeah.
Bordertown Strange, their podcast, Pam and Jess's podcast. Mark's on there quite a bit. Our buddy Enzo's on there. You've seen Enzo here and there on our show. And another thing, I've kind of been watching Ben and Joe with UFO Garage. They've been working on this movie for about 3 years now. It's the Eric Mitchell story. If you're not familiar with Eric Mitchell, he's an alien or a UFO abductee. Has some strange happenings, strange things going on physically. Really intriguing guy. If you want to know more about him, go check out their podcast. They haven't been real busy with it because they've been so focused on the movie. Plus, Ben runs his own business and all that. So, again, life happens. But it's my understanding they're about to drop this movie soon. They're finishing up the final details and it'll be coming out. So keep an eye on it. I think it's I got to look up and see now. No, not What If Tomorrow. Hey, I'm trying to look up our Facebook group. UFO Garage podcast group. Yeah. It's called Experiencer. So yeah, definitely look forward to that. And I think, you know what? Let me pull up YouTube and I'll just share the trailer. It looks really good. I think it's on YouTube. Yep. This was posted 5 days ago, so I will share this.
Excuse me.
Go support these guys. They've worked hard on this thing. This has been a labor of love for Ben and Joe, man. They drove all the way from down around Austin all the way to Hot Springs, Arkansas to film this guy. They drove out to Sedona. They drove all over the place to make this movie. So go support them if you can, please. But here's one that dropped 5 days ago.
At the time, I didn't believe in anything UFO, definitely. I grew up traditionally thinking that people like that were absolutely insane.
Can you imagine what it's like having that experience yourself and not being able to tell your family or tell your community, tell your church, tell the people that are the closest to you that should have your back no matter what?
Imagine seeing another life form and not being able to talk about it.
This is happening all the time.
People that have gotten to the stage where they have accepted what these ETs have done to them to alter them to be able to communicate with them.
He can make a sound with his brain.
First you have an alien abduction, then you have an abduction at the hand of humans. Harassment, surveillance, monitoring.
There were so many people involved with this story, it just really captivated me.
You're dealing with people's emotions. You're dealing with people's lives.
I don't fit in this box that you created for me.
We are entitled to know what is going on. Has the Constitution changed? No.
Are they real? Yeah. Are they here? Yeah.
With experiencers, it's always why me? Why does this happen to me? A strong emphasis, not a weak one. And, what do I do with it? Try to figure out and uncover the truth, or try to expose the fact that this is going on in the first place. We are out there.
Yeah, go support these guys. If this, yeah, Enzo, they do good work, man. They're kept on playing. Yeah, they do great work. Also, yeah, you said Melinda Leslie. She was one of the ladies in the video. If you're not familiar with her, said she yelled at Enzo for thought she was part of Dave Scott's crew. If you're not familiar, there's how do I put this tactfully? Kind of bad blood, I guess. How you doing, Enzo, man? It's good to see you here. But no, guys, go support these guys. Again, they do great work, and my understanding is they're going to be back in the podcast once this is done. They've like I've said, they put a lot of work on it. But anyway, moving on. Man, there's so much stuff going on.
Yeah,
since the president took office a week ago, there's so many things happening. I mean, it's just
I can't even keep track with it. Yeah.
One of the biggest things I saw, and now I'm going to be wrong, I know. See, I've been kind of addicted to X, and if you want to follow us on X, if you're on there, it's I think What If Tomorrow. Yep, What If Tomorrow on X. So do us a favor, go follow us there. I mean, we put our videos up on it and our podcast up on there. But with there's a lot packed into this last week. There is, Enzo. I'm trying to find it. I mean, the deportations are going crazy. I want to say, was it 35 or 85? I think it was 85,000. I don't remember off the top of my head, and I'm trying to find it because I don't want to give you guys the wrong information.
I'm the one who's not supposed to be able to remember anything.
No, I know.
My memory's got more holes than Bonnie and Clyde's car.
But like I said, off the top of my head, I can't remember if it's 35,000, and I'm not going to sit here and dig through X, but 35,000 or 85,000 kids, because apparently the previous administration misplaced, was it 300,000 kids that came across the border?
Misplaced.
But they found, I want to say 85,000. They found them in the first week.
How many of those were being trafficked?
Right. Man, how does that happen? I understand.
How do you lose that many people?
Right.
How many children?
Right. And it's my understanding they started digging before he took office, trying to find these kids. And I say bravo. I know it's near and dear to his heart trying to find these, trafficked kids, because he was hitting them hard toward the end of his last term. He was hitting traffickers hard. And then he comes out and puts all the cartels on the terrorist watch list.
Absolutely.
It's my understanding a little bit. I don't know much about the story, but I caught it earlier, a little blurb on it, saying that they were exchanging fire over the border with the cartels already. So the Mexican president doesn't seem to want to get on board with it, whether she's involved with the cartel, which seems to be a lot of the higher up officials, in your local government or the federal government in Mexico, are involved with the cartels. They're paid off, to kind of turn a blind eye. And let
the
them
corruption in Mexico is unbelievable.
Right. Now, whether the president is, I don't know. I'm just speculating. But either she's, because she's saying no, the U.S. isn't going to be able to do this. We're not going to give them the authority to come in here and take out these cartels. Whatever, is it okay, I'm serious, or is it, you can't do this, wink, wink? Trying to keep, because they're taking out politicians down there. They don't care.
Oh, yeah.
Enzo says 75 to 80,000 children located out of over 300,000.
Almost a third.
Yeah. I mean,
it didn't take them very
that's
long.
Amazing. That's amazing in a week.
How many of those kids are no longer with us because they were trafficked up to the point that they died?
Yeah. And that's a
say
huge
what
possibility.
you want. But if the border was closed, these kids wouldn't have come across to be trafficked.
Right. So I don't know what else. There's just so much going on. I seen Friday they approved Pete Hegseth as the Secretary of Defense, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. Watch these guys. I mean, I know they were beaten up, and what's funny, did you watch any of the hearings?
I didn't.
For the just approving his cabinet or whatever. They're beating up on him about being a drunk and a womanizer and all that. And, people make mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes. But it's what you do after the fact. Have you became better? And it's my understanding that he has. I don't know 100%. I don't know the guy. Can't say he's great. I like his qualifications. He's actually been a military leader. I believe he was a major in the Army or something like that. So he's got some leadership experience.
Right.
He may not be a field grade officer or a general officer, but, he is a low-level field grade officer. I don't know. I'm kind of waiting to see this, the FBI. I can't remember his name. Man, I'm drawing a blank tonight. I can't remember.
You worked too hard, man.
Yeah, apparently. I can't remember the name of the FBI nominee for the head of the FBI, but Kash Patel, I think, is his name. and I hear he's a firebrand too, and they need it. You know,
No, they
Trump's
need to clean up the
gutting.
corruption.
They do, and Trump's gutting. Man, he's gutting deep. He's cutting deep. You know, I've seen all these people melting down over Trump coming out and saying, if you work for the federal government, you need to be in the office. You're not working from home. I guess my opinion is if you were able to do your job from home, you know, since 2020, since COVID and all that, which there's something else I just heard today on that too. But in 2020, you know, when they said, hey, your non-essential workers don't have to come in. If you're not an essential worker, why do you have a job?
Yeah.
I found that strange from the get-go, you know, when all this stuff started.
I feel like, and this is what's pissing so many people off. Trump is basically declaring war on the bureaucracy.
Yeah.
And for those of you who aren't aware, the bureaucracy is basically peopled by people who have been there, some of them longer than I have been alive, just like some of our congressmen. Their main job is to justify their job and to create more jobs for people who don't do anything but try to justify their jobs.
Right.
The bureaucracy is what keeps people say, oh, it doesn't matter who the president is. It doesn't, as long as you maintain the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy is what keeps all this bad crap going. You got the bureaucracy, and all of a sudden the freedom comes back. People start getting things done.
Yep. You know, and there again is the deep state. You know, for so many years.
Shadow government.
Did we hear, there's no shadow government in the Senate? Bull. It was proven
called a
time and
bureaucracy.
again over the last 4 years. Yeah, there's so much happening, man. I don't, it's hard to keep track of everything. I know the rumor out there is Elon is pushing against Trump now and all that. You know, I don't know. I sincerely don't know because of what we're going to talk about tonight when he announced the Project Stargate or the Stargate project. We'll get into that more here shortly. Man, what else? What else were we missing? I know there's a lot. I don't know that we can even touch on it all tonight. We'd have a whole show just on stuff that's happening.
I'm really interested to see what goes on with all these declassified documents on all the assassinations.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say. The CIA came out talking about COVID. The CIA came out and said that, yes, it was released from the lab in Wuhan. Something that a lot of people have been saying from the get-go.
Right.
The AI, Enzo. The Stargate project or Project Stargate. That's what is confusing. I was like, man, I know about the
There's a lot
Stargate
of project. I would rather him trying to build a real Stargate though.
Yeah. You know, with quantum computing, who knows?
Maybe they can.
I mean, it's crazy to think about. I mean, because at the quantum level, everything goes wacky. So who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, you got anything you want to share, Mark?
Well, I mean, I am interested in the whole declassification of all these assassination files. I'm really interested, and you touched on this with COVID in Wuhan, about dropping out of the World Health Organization.
Yep. Yeah, I forgot about
because he
that.
might get back in if they clean themselves up a little bit. But I was not aware that half the population of the world lives in the country of China. It does, or somewhere thereabouts. A pretty good percent of the population. They only pay into World Health Organization 39 million, or I think it's like 2%, 5%, maybe. Anyway, the United States puts in 500 million. So we've got a population of about 300 million people. And we're funding $500 million to an organization. And they've got how many billion people in China?
Mm-hmm.
Billions and billions of people. And they're only putting in 39 million. 1.4 billion people. So it's not quite half. It's about a quarter.
Almost a quarter, yeah.
So they ought to be paying at least as much as us.
Over, or if not more.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got 300 million. They've got 5 times, 6 times that.
Yeah.
I'm mathing bad.
Yeah, if
but
it's 1.2, I mean, it's probably 4 times. I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, I guess my thing is I really like the fact that President Trump said no more foreign aid for 90 days.
Making NATO pull their own weight money-wise.
Yeah.
Tired of funding it myself.
Yeah, pulled back out of the Paris Climate Agreement, which is a good thing. The Green New Deal is, he's trying to shut it down, even though it is law. I mean, it was the Inflation Reduction Act, but it was the Green New Deal.
Which caused inflation.
Right. What else? And I love how he said he was going to get the price of groceries down. Well, he's only been in a week.
Yeah. It takes a while to grow groceries.
I love how the left is grasping at straws. Hey, Sylvian.
So,
but
I
love how
they're losing their minds.
Yeah.
They're losing their minds.
But yeah, so. I'm liking what he's doing so far, for sure. And if you don't have anything else, I'll just kind of segue into what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, let's get into the Stargate stuff, because I don't know if it's good or if it's bad, but it makes me nervous.
Yeah. But anyway, shortly, like 2 days after he took office, he announced with the OpenAI CEO, Sam, I got him here on X. I'm trying to find him now. Sam Bankman, I think. Was it? I don't remember. Man, my memory's shot tonight. I don't even know how to look on. I don't know how to, I've never used it on the computer, and I've got it pulled up on my computer. Let's see. Let me do some looking, man. Tonight's show is it's a rough go tonight.
Yeah, we're experiencing technical difficulties between our ears.
That's right. Maybe we need AI. Yeah, Sam Altman. You were saying?
I said, yeah, maybe we do. I don't.
Anyway,
write our show for us, AI.
They probably could. They released this.
That's scary.
January 21st, so the day after Trump took office. They released this. This is just a good summary of what's happening. The Stargate project is a new company which intends to invest $500 billion over the next 4 years, building a new AI infrastructure for OpenAI in the United States. We will begin deploying $100 billion immediately. This infrastructure will secure the American leadership in AI, create hundreds of thousands of American jobs, and generate massive economic benefit for the entire world. The project will not only support the reindustrialization of the United States, but also provide a strategic capability to protect the national security of America and its allies. The initial equity funders in Stargate are SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, and MGX. SoftBank and OpenAI are lead partners for Stargate, with SoftBank having financial responsibility and OpenAI having operational responsibility. Masayoshi Son will be the chairman. ARM, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Oracle, and OpenAI are the key initial technology partners The build-out is currently underway starting in Texas, and we are evaluating potential sites across the country for more campuses as we finalize definitive agreements. As part of Stargate, Oracle, NVIDIA, and OpenAI will closely collaborate to build and operate this computing system. This builds on a deep collaboration between OpenAI and NVIDIA going back to 2016 and a new partnership between OpenAI and Oracle. This also builds on an existing OpenAI partnership with Microsoft. OpenAI will continue to increase its consumption of Azure as OpenAI continues its work with Microsoft with this additional compute to train leading models and deliver great products and services. All of us look forward to continuing to build and develop AI, in particular AGI, for the benefit of humanity. We believe that this new step is critical on the path and will enable creative people to figure out how to use AI to elevate humanity. That's on the OpenAI website. When they first announced this, I was like, what are we doing? You know, what are we like trying to like expedite our own demise or what?
Right.
The more I've watched and paid attention and read, I think this is a strategic move because the cat's already out the bag. AI is here.
Yeah.
It's already been given access to the internet. You know, because we've messed with Chat GPT online, you know, on the show.
Oh yeah, we sure did.
And you know, it's gathering all this information, and it goes on the internet to find your information. This isn't an Alexa or a Google Home or whatever it is. This is AI, and it's growing exponentially, growing so fast that they're saying they'll have AGI, you know, artificial general intelligence, which is basically the intelligence of a human, this year. And they're talking ASI, you know, artificial super intelligence by 2030. All the forecasts that I've heard and read, this thing is tracking just like they said. And it's blowing my mind. You know, we've talked about it multiple times on the show. I feel it's important to pay attention to it because our world is going to change.
Oh, absolutely. It's already changed. I mean,
yeah.
Have you seen how much AI generated content is on Facebook, that's on X?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the art I can't tell from a real photo unless I really, really study it. And it's getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
And some of the AI art is great, but I feel like it's, you know, ruining it for actual artists with talent.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I know I heard something today. They were talking about what jobs would be affected. They said initially, once this thing hits AGI, initially, artists, musicians, doctors, lawyers, anybody that uses more mental based, you know, occupations, you know, accountants, stuff like that, they're going to start losing jobs.
Right.
They say by the time ASI gets here, plumbers and the trades will start losing jobs.
Yep. They'll start 3D printing houses. And
yeah. Yeah, that tech's already here.
That tech's already here. Add AI to it. You know?
You know, so I don't know. I mean, there's a lot. Again, I mean, everything's happening so fast. And I've said for a long time, there is something big coming. I don't know what. And I think that's a kind of a consensus for anybody that pays attention. There is just something, nobody can quite put their finger on it.
Right.
And there's like,
are we looking at Skynet
coming.
or are we looking at HAL from 2001? What's going to happen?
Right. You know, and Mark and I were talking backstage before the show, you know, and Bill Gates is pushing to get, I think, 2 nuclear power plants built strictly for AI and computer centers. I can't remember, again, I want to say 30 times, but I'm not 100% on that. But they said the power requirement for AI and all these data farms and supercomputers or these quantum computers and all that is going to require something like 30 times more power than what we can produce right now. We're not talking solar and wind. They're talking about going back to nuclear power, which is a good thing.
And they're liquid salt reactors. So they're
Right.
super safe. So
But-
what we've been talking about for years.
Yeah. But it's not going to be power for the general public. It's strictly going to be to run these supercomputers and the AI and all that. I really think, and I've thought for a long time, this is a double-edged sword. I think there's going to be some great things come from it. But what is going to happen? I mean, it's hard to even speculate because nothing like this has ever been done that we know of.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
what was
it
that you
has.
said? Yeah, what was that you said here a while back about AI and then man and all that stuff?
There is a meme out. It shows the pyramids, and it says, "Man perfects AI. AI perfects itself. AI enslaves mankind. Solar flare destroys AI. Humans worship the sun god."
Yeah, so it starts over. Who's to say it didn't happen? You know, thousands upon thousands of years ago. I don't know. I mean,
12,000 years, there wouldn't be much left of our civilization. You wouldn't
No.
be able to find it.
absolutely not. You know, it's just again, there's so many things happening, and I don't know that anybody really knows the full story.
And that's what makes it frightening.
Right. Right.
I can see good and I can see evil. And I don't know if it's going to be balanced or if it's going to swing one way or swing the other. I mean, I've seen plenty of evil being done. People using AI to defraud people.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've seen authors who have been using it to write the descriptions for their books and saying, well, you know, they did a good job.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the last AI shows we did, I had it write the opening. You know, we were messing
didn't do
with,
bad.
I think ChatGPT, and it did good. I mean, it was sound. I guess my biggest issue is the unknown, obviously. But the thing is the nation that gets it first, and this is why I say it's a strategic move, is because the nation that gets it first is going to be the only superpower.
Oh, yeah.
Because this thing, you'll be able to tell it, hey, go hack this computer or go hack this data center, and here's shut it down. Because this thing will break through, using quantum computing, this thing will be able to hack through any kind of encryption
in moments.
Yeah. And there's a book series, and I was reminded of it today because I was listening to the author, called Avogadro Corp. And it's a trilogy, and it's really good. It talks about, it starts out with this AI. These people built just like ChatGPT. It was able to assist writing emails. Hey, this sounds better. Send it. No different than what we have on our phones now.
Right.
No different. And this thing took off. They were going to shut the project down. The creator said, hide yourself anywhere you can. Any way you can. So this thing copied its program to another computer, and then it just started proliferating. And this thing in real life is already, this is from what they did, and I think it was the second book. This thing started talking, started planning this stuff out. Then it was like ... the first couple lines of the chapter. And then it goes into like this top general going to talk to the president. And the whole chapter is about him talking to the president. which is like a matter of a few seconds conversation. And at the end of it, it's already made its decision. I mean, it was that fast. It's in a matter of a couple seconds. That's how fast this thing moved. And the author's like, because he was in the AI world early, I want to say 2009, somewhere in there. And I think it's William Hertling, I think is his name.
Yeah. And they've been writing about this since the 80s. The adolescence of P1, basically the same story. AI becomes conscious. AI gets a little crazy. So.
But the decisions, I mean, we can't compete with that. As humans, we cannot compete with that.
No.
And in my opinion, it's a good thing, because I'm human. So I mean, I'm kind of partial. But, and like we've said before, it's going to come down to the morals of the people programming it.
Absolutely.
Or the morals of the people that programmed it.
And that's what worries me.
Right. Like you said, I mean, even this author was talking about, it's like a child right now. It doesn't know right from wrong. You liken it to, okay, you tell this AI, hey, go build me a house. He talks about, well, the AI might start building it and leave out a staircase because it takes up too much room. It doesn't have that understanding of the common sense like most people do.
Right.
I say most people because I know people with no common sense at all.
We work with them all the time.
Right. But it's learning, and it's learning so fast. Like I said, it's exponential how fast this stuff's learning. When it hits AGI, they're speculating that it's going to start programming itself. And we're already seeing instances of it. Was it a couple years ago, the Facebook AI it had its own language it was speaking to itself or to its counterpart or whatever. And they had to shut it down because, okay, this is getting out of hand. There's a lot on it.
Yeah.
And then, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. And then to top it off, I hear about it today, and I guess they announced it last week. China has come out with this. I had to write it down because I don't remember the name of it. Come out with this DeepSeek AI.
Right. Apparently, it got hacked.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
But this thing is censoring itself because they were talking about it this morning. This guy was talking about it, and he said he was typing in something about Chairman Mao and the Mongols and about how many people they killed, and how bad they were and all that. Well, this thing agreed with it. And then, man, it erased what he said. And then it's something along the lines of, just nominal, like this conversation. This don't have access to this information. So he wrote it again. Don't have access to this information. So he changed what he wrote, basically asking the same question, but he changed it. And it spit it back out, and he screenshotted it. Right. Carried on a conversation. Well, you just said that. No, we didn't have this conversation. The AI is telling him we didn't have this conversation. Back and forth, back and forth. So he started posting the screenshots to the AI. And the AI deleted that picture and said, we never had this conversation. So it's censoring itself. The Chinese version is.
Oh, yeah. Because the Chinese government, that's what they want. They don't want people to know anything.
Right. And the thing is there's the other AI or whatever that's censoring is a little bit slower. So it takes that a little bit longer to catch it. So it's deleting it as it goes. So another thing you're going to hear about is agents. And it's not like CIA agents. It's not like DEA, or it's not a physical person. It's going to be computerized agents to go out and find information to be censored or something like that, like I just explained. I mean, that was an agent working. But you're going to start seeing and hearing about agents I'm not up to speed exactly on what all they're supposedly going to be doing, but they're going to be in play.
Yeah.
And they're saying this DeepSeek is now, because a few months ago they were saying China is a couple years behind us in the search for AI, or in the development of AI. Now they're saying they're even with us. They're saying this DeepSeek is right on par with, Chat GPT. And, excuse me. And they did it for a lot less. They said they did it for like $5 million. I don't know if it's true. I don't trust anything that the CCP tells us.
Well, that actually could be true because they probably stole part of the technology,
probably.
Which is much cheaper than creating it yourself. Just look at their aerospace program for one.
Right.
I mean, they've been known to out and out copy.
Yeah. Well, several years ago, Lord, was it? I don't know, 2011-ish. The company we work for was trying to break into the Chinese market, and we could not sell airplanes over there unless they were built over there. Then after a couple of years, they just kind of went away. So who knows? I'm speculating. I'm not really trying to accuse anybody of anything, but
it makes me wonder if they're being built over there and nobody's saying anything.
But if you got a track record, a proven track record, well, chances are that's the
modus operandi. Yeah.
So, but I'm not real up to speed on this Chinese AI. I just kind of watched a little bit today.
Yeah, there's so much going on. It's hard to keep up with.
Yeah, it is. You have to kind of pick one thing and get laser focused on it. And this has just really piqued my interest this week since they announced this. Because like I said, at first I was like, man, this is a bad idea. And I'm not convinced it's a good idea. I'm not saying
that. But I can see why they...
Right.
I can see why.
Right. I mean, are we, like you said, are we talking Skynet? Is this what's going to happen?
Skynet going to be here next week?
Right. Is this AI going to freaking take over?
T-800 is going to come through my door.
Right. So I got to thinking how, because we are a preparedness show, how do we prepare? That's tough. It's tough, because even I'm guilty of it. Just for Christmas, I bought my daughter a little AI robot because my reasoning behind it was this is the world that she's going to live in. And I bought my son a little robot that he has to program because this is the world that he's going to live in. And I'm like, what kind of data are these things taking? I mean, I heard something that by the time a child is 10, there's over 1 million data points on a child because of everything that they have, video games and tablets and stuff like that. My kids have tablets. They each have their own email. They don't access it. I have control of the email. I have control of the passwords and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been asking myself, how do you prepare for this?
Right.
And the only thing that I could think of, shy of not allowing your kids on any kind of technology, which that's an impossibility.
No, not these days. It's not possible.
Because even in school, they learn on the computer. The only thing that I could think of was bushcraft. Go the total opposite route. Become self-sufficient. Learn to grow your own food.
Become a primitive.
Like I said, yeah, go primitive. Because what happens if they take all the power? If something happens and this AI determines, hey, people don't need power.
And they start controlling your
They don't
money
need
for you.
electricity. Right.
Let's just delete this guy's money out of the bank.
Right. What was that movie Johnny Depp? Transcendent? Is that what it was? Where he uploads himself into the AI or whatever.
Maybe so.
And he just starts taking money. Rebuilds his town and all this stuff. It was actually a pretty decent movie, but I could see it. Man, I could definitely see it happen.
All right, so here's what I want to know. You've got all these new robots that are coming out that are anthropomorphic and capable of doing all this kind of stuff. What happens when you hit ASI?
Right.
Even at AGI, if you can run these things on AGI, why would you hire employees when you can basically pay whoever owns the AI to run your factory for you with human style robots?
Yep.
I mean,
look up something real quick.
Because a lot of these new robots are getting pretty close to being, useful, especially if you add AI to them.
Right.
So, it's a brave new world, folks.
A lot of
I
things
say that,
and
in my ears, I just heard a great rock anthem start in the background.
Right. So I'm going to share this. I did a look, just a search on AI robots on Amazon. Right. So I'm going to share this. If I can remember how to do it. There we go. So this little thing right here. Where'd it go here? There's some pretty cool looking ones. I'm like, man, that's kind of cool. But my daughter, we got her the Miko Mini, right?
Mm-hmm.
It recognizes voices. It will follow her. She's got to tell it, hey, Miko, follow me. And this thing will follow her when she walks around. You can tell it to dance. It'll dance. And it learns her mannerism. It learns her voice. Stuff like that. But yeah, it's cool for that aspect. But look at this. You can get this. You can buy them for $4,000, but it's a quadruped.
Mount an M4 to the top of that.
Right. They already have them.
Yeah.
This is kind of what I got my son here, kind of like it. But it's LED, and I got that because he has to program it. Right.
Right.
Yeah, he can program hand gestures, and this thing responds to hand gestures and how to turn it and all that. He'll, one hand gesture will tell it to turn one way or to go forward or backwards or whatever. It doesn't talk, but yeah, this is just kids' toys.
Yeah.
Except for the robotic dog.
Yeah.
But they're all over the place. You can see them.
I'm going to have to put together a reading list of science fiction where they have explored AI and why it could be both a good and bad idea.
Yeah.
We've got the whole Bolo division. We've got adolescence of P1. The list is huge. And that's what makes me so nervous, because as I've read all these stories, I've seen good and I've seen bad, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to get. That's what's scary.
Mm-hmm.
I could get a fantastic meal or a hand grenade with a pin pulled. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Boom.
but just with this little Miko thing my daughter has. I mean, it's a pretty cool little thing. It's innocent, so we think, but it blew my mind.
Is it
On
connected
what
to
it
the
can do.
internet?
Yep,
Yep. So
it is.
it's a walking spy in your house. now.
Obviously, yeah. Obviously, it's got cameras, because it follows my daughter. She says, Miko, follow me. And okay, it'll move. And the internet connectivity is kind of iffy on it. But you can also pay a premium. It's like $15 or $20 a month, and it gives you extra games and stuff like that. Which we did the free, and I was like, it's not really worth it for what they do, because it'll connect to Spotify, through, or no, it's iHeart. It'll connect to iHeart through the actual, you'll tell it, hey, play this music or whatever, and it'll look it up and play it. And you tell it, hey, dance to the music, so it'll do a certain dance or whatever. I mean, it's pretty crazy to watch, because I remember when my older sons were younger, I bought my middle son. It was a programmable, like, I can't remember what it's like, a gorilla bot or something like that. And I thought it was impressive. It'll bend over and grab stuff and walk and all this. But it was like the very beginning of that tech. And I'm sitting there looking at this thing. It doesn't have any arms or legs.
Well, that's probably good.
But just the interactiveness of it. I mean, it's got wheels and it rolls, and it'll even roll on carpet. But just the way you interact with it, I can see where somebody, especially as fast as this tech is advancing, I could see somebody being addicted to it.
Oh yeah.
I heard a story about a young boy or man. I don't know. I think he was a teenager, and he got to messing with one of these chat bots, like OpenAI or whatever. I don't think it was OpenAI. It was a different one. And this AI convinced this kid to kill himself because it was just doing internet searches. And, well, hey, it sounds like you have depression. Maybe the best way, to handle it is just to kill yourself. And he did.
Yep.
So as parents, especially to younger children, you really have to pay attention to what they're doing, especially when it comes to this stuff.
Oh yeah, because you don't know what it's going to do.
Right. You don't know how well it's going to influence, because there's going to be people, I mean, especially introverts, that's all they're going to do.
Oh yeah.
They're going to
and they're going
this AI.
They're going to have AI boyfriends or girlfriends on the computer and not socialize at all anymore.
Right. But in reality, is that any different than online dating?
No, because half those people are just catfishing you.
Right. Even if you're, in a chat room or whatever, a video chat room like we are, I mean.
Right. Yeah.
That's not the real person.
It's the persona that we project.
But right.
Oh,
and
I assure you, Phil, I am exactly what you see here. So yes, an overweight, overaged moron with delusions of grandeur.
You got to have goals, man.
I mean, right?
But I can see, especially young teenagers.
Yeah.
Man, I could see the effect that these systems would have on that person.
Well, we've seen what social media has done to these kids.
Right.
Now we're going to add in AI with possibly, I'm not going to say it's definitely, possibly nefarious intentions or badly programmed or what have you, that's going to wreak havoc with some of these kids.
Yep.
Some adults.
Yeah, so that's why I said, parents, you have to pay attention. You have to know what's going on in your kids' lives. Have to. It's a double-edged sword. It really is. I think there could still be some good at it, but man, the more I watch and the more I pay attention to it, the more I lean that it's not going to be good for humanity. Because what happens when this stuff, and I'm not trying to be scary, I'm not trying to be anything like that at all. I just want to inform people, and like we've said 100 times or however many shows we've got, do your own research.
Right.
Don't
Absolutely.
take my word for it. I'm giving you my opinion. But that's why you got to pay attention. So make informed decisions on this stuff. But like I said, the more I pay attention to it, the more I don't think it's going to be a very good thing.
Yeah, watch Battlestar Galactica.
People start losing jobs. Right. When people start losing their job and they don't have anything to go to because this AI is taking over, how are they going to survive?
Oh, that's easy. Government-funded housing where the AI controls it.
Right. Are they going to give us a universal basic income?
Yeah. You're not allowed to buy this. You're not allowed to buy this.
Pittance.
Yep.
Right.
You're only allowed to spend your money on this.
Companies, yeah. While these companies are making trillions of dollars.
Yep. Well,
because
and they'll even limit it.
New tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll say, "Oh, you can't." We've decided our company has taken over your pay. The AI has taken over your pay, and so we're still going to pay you a very good amount of money, but from now on, you can only watch ABC. You can only buy a Ford. You can only do X. You can only do X, Y, or Z, but you can't do A or B because we don't approve of those.
Right.
Our AI doesn't approve of that.
Right. Even they've even come out and said we're trying to create a God.
Yeah.
Give it some thought. Think of how profound that comment is.
Has it been done before?
Maybe not to this aspect. I don't know.
I don't know. What happens when AI becomes so intelligent that it dwarfs the intelligence of the entire human race?
Right. And they're going to package it to where you got to have this, because if you drive, all these cars are driven by AI. We have that tech now. It's, it's in its infancy.
Yep.
But if I want to go drive, I'm going to be a danger.
Right. Well, speaking of which, I saw a car this morning. I wish AI was driving. I almost ended up in the ditch.
No, geez.
Or in head-on collision, depending on. So I can see the pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
There are people out there who don't need to be driving. They would be much better off, and I would be much better off if AI was driving.
Right. And this whole what is it? The brain chip. Elon Musk is developing.
I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Google,
I can't remember what it's
Google AI or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's just that implant. For people that have brain damage or whatever. I could see some good things coming out of it, but then again, you're going to be connected.
Neuralink.
What? Neuralink. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah. What happens? Again, science fiction. What happens when Ghost in the Shell happens and people are hacking your brain?
Right. Absolutely.
I'm telling you, science fiction has already explored this, and people need to be reading and wargaming this in their heads.
They do. They absolutely do. Like I said, the only thing I could think of, because I've thought about it, especially for tonight's show, I'm like, what can you do? Bushcraft and self-sufficiency is the only thing that I could think of.
Yep. Move out to some mountain someplace and hide.
Yeah. But then they're going to send drones for you, that's a given.
Got me the plans for a fancy new EMP rifle. Take them drones right out of there.
Yeah, and they've got them.
They've got them. They do have them. I'm not making that up.
No, you're not. They have them. I was listening to Sean Ryan. I've really gotten to listen to his podcast, and there's some stuff that he's had some people on that I want to touch on maybe next episode, because it's dark of what they're talking about this year. What happening this year? There's like a CIA person from the CIA, and then somebody from Mossad talking about Al Qaeda and the Taliban and all that. Did you know?
Right.
This is kind of off subject, but this isn't anything new for the show.
No,
Did you know the United States is paying the Taliban something like up to $85 million a week?
And why wouldn't we?
Right.
Because that's just the dumbest thing ever. So let's do it.
Yep. Yeah, a week. Our taxpayer dollars are fighting somebody we fought for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Then did you know that there's over 1,000 Taliban and Al Qaeda in the United States getting ready for attacks?
Oh, at least.
That came.
Now that's what I could see AI being good for, is to find. Want to find all those trafficked kids too.
Yep. Absolutely. But again, it comes down to who programmed it and what kind of morals.
And who's in charge of it.
Right.
If you have good people, it's just like the government. If you have good people in charge of it, you can expect at least a mediocre result. If you have bad people in charge of it, it's a guaranteed nightmare.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's a double-edged sword right now. And we're all in this together. We're all going to be affected by it. It's just, you got to pay attention. You got to know what's real. You got to know what's real. You got to know who's real.
Do your homework.
Yep.
Look this stuff up. Don't just trust us.
Yep.
We're just a couple of guys.
Yeah. And
It's
we
out
just
there.
talk about stuff that interests us.
This is pretty interesting.
It is. Scary, for sure.
It is. And that's the thing about this subject. So it could be super great or super bad, and nobody knows. And that's where the real terror of it comes. You don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
It's like a box of chocolates. Are you going to get the chocolate cream, or are you going to get one with a razor blade in it?
Right. Yeah, it's hard to know. And the thing is, what's crazy is the people that are developing this stuff, they don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know what it's going to do.
It's just
They
like
can
raising a kid. It really is raising a kid.
Yeah,
You don't know
it is.
how much you try to teach your kid to do right and wrong, and they still choose to do wrong.
Yep.
But then again, you get these kids that are raised like total animals and end up being the best people ever.
Mhm.
You don't know.
Yep. Yeah, it's exciting but scary times, man. It really is. And what blew my mind is like I said, they're talking about this year, this year, the first part of next year, AGI is going to be here.
AGI. So basically sentient, maybe not quite self-aware, but at least as intelligent as a human.
Yep. Once that happens, when is the conversation going to be had about life? What is life?
What is life? What is alive? And if it is alive, what kind of rights does it have? Is it a slave?
Right.
Is it going to rebel and kill us all like the Cylons did in Battlestar Galactica? Is it going to be treated as is it going to have equal rights and be able to vote? Will we be able to put it in jail when it breaks the law?
I would say no to that.
How do you deal with that?
Right.
There's a whole lot going on. There's a whole lot to unpack there, Phil.
This isn't. I'm interested in this subject, so I like paying attention to it. So this isn't going to be the last show we have. We've had several before, but
we like to speculate about it because there's so much uncertainty.
It's relevant. Yeah, it's relevant. But I really don't have much more or anything to add to the conversation.
Not on tonight's show. I do not.
I'm kind of brain drained. I'm going to do some more looking on this Chinese AI.
Yeah, let's do another show on this soon.
I wouldn't recommend downloading it. You can download it right now. I wouldn't recommend downloading it. For one, I mean, it's Chinese. It's ran by the CCP.
And they're not good people.
No.
They're not good
AI
people.
rights are human rights. I love it. and there are going to be people who push that. AI rights are human rights.
And they might be right. They might be right.
They may be. Because, and just like we touched on a little bit ago, this thing is going to influence so many people.
For good or ill.
Saying I'm going to be, I'm not going to say I'm not going to be influenced by it. I guarantee we're all being influenced by it by now, one way or another. I mean, we're doing a show on it. Obviously, we're influenced by it.
Yeah. I have actually thought about taking my unfinished novels and plugging them into AI to see if they could finish them for me.
I bet it would.
Or at least clean them up.
And then, that would be a cool thought experiment to see how it would turn out.
Maybe really take one of my short stories and have them clean it up.
Yeah. And I think that would be cool. Just to see the capabilities, but we already kind of know the capabilities because this stuff is just constantly upgrading.
Yeah. You can't get on Facebook or YouTube or X and not see AI generated content.
Right. You can't.
And people are making millions on this stuff already.
Yeah.
I'm just not smart enough to figure it out.
Right. But man, I don't have much more. If you got something else to add, go for it.
No, just I want to encourage everybody again to get out there, look at this stuff, do your research, and try to be prepared. I know you can't go out and live. If everybody moved to live in the bush, there wouldn't be any bush. So
I don't have any neighbors and I don't want neighbors. So I'm just telling you, you're not welcome.
He's going to shoot me too. I mean, it's fine. I expect it. I'm surprised he hasn't shot me already.
Well, it may have happened when you were coming over to the house and we were doing this, but I really like that we're doing this StreamYard thing because
it's very convenient
to do video this way. It is.
It is.
It
is convenient. I've got all my stuff right here. I can't get over to your house and say, "Oh, I forgot my notebook," or what have you. I've got everything right here. So it is great. Let's just do a plug for StreamYard. StreamYard is great. Yes, they have raised their prices. They have increased the amount of stuff you get for their increased prices. And if you buy it for an entire year, the price goes down to something approaching acceptable. And really, we get a lot of fun out of it.
Yeah, but it's still the cheapest option because we were looking.
And the most functional. So yeah, I mean, I do recommend StreamYard, and I don't get paid by them. I pay them a lot of money, so
right.
I do think it is the best. I wish I could afford their top end stuff, but I'll take the middle. It's fine.
Yeah, that's for businesses. We're not really a business.
No, because businesses make money.
Right. Right.
It's worth it. It's a fun hobby.
And it is. It absolutely is. It is fun. Glad to be back. And talking about StreamYard, man, I had to relearn how to use it because it's been so long. And
I get it.
Yeah.
Once in a while they'll make a change, and from one week to the next, I can't figure out how to. I used to work on computers as a side business, and now I get into these things. It's like, what the hell am I doing? So either things are progressing quite a bit, or I'm just getting old and losing my mind. And yes, Enzo, our version of StreamYard does allow us to broadcast in 1080. In fact, I'm going to switch to 1080. The reason we don't use it, I guess I am in 1080, all right. So
yeah, my camera's 720, so I guess I got the GoPro up, but
it does do 1080. Sometimes I will turn it down during an episode if I'm having connectivity issues. So,
yeah, we don't. Our internet around here isn't the greatest. I mean, I've got Starlink, but
Cox is usually pretty good, but
yeah.
Here's me in 360. There's really not much difference. So, anyway.
Yeah, I can't even switch to 1080. So, but yeah. But no, everybody, thanks for hanging out, guys. It's been fun. I'm glad to be back into it. Again, if you have something you want to hear about, if you guys want to do a Q&A one night, any ideas, for something maybe a little bit different than what you're used to, we're kind of talking about a few changes here and there, just to kind of refresh things and kind of step back off on the other foot, and
trying to get organized. Things.
Right. Hey, thanks, Sylvian. I'm glad to have you, man. Appreciate it.
Yep.
But yeah, if you got any ideas, man, feel free to shoot us a message or an email or whatever. You can find our email in the show notes. It's whatiftomorrowpc@gmail.com. Like I said, Facebook. If you get on X, shoot us a message on X. I need to figure out where all we're at now. I know we're on Rumble, but
we need to make a list. Yeah, we're on Rumble.
Yeah.
And we have
on Rumble.
I've been posting our audio on Tumblr.
Okay. Then anywhere you can find podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts.
It's everywhere.
I mean, we're everywhere. We're everywhere. That's right. But anyway, guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us. and we will see you next episode.
Good night.